Very happy to have another young Indian with us. Right now, we have with us Praveenaa Venkatesan. Let's listen to her. Over to you, Praveenaa.
Thank you, sir, and good evening, sir. Greetings to all watching my video, and I am truly honored to be here and grateful for this opportunity to share my thoughts. So, I would like to extend my appreciation for this fantastic platform. Thank you so much for such an initiative for providing us, the youth, a space where we can have a meaningful conversation to thrive. So I consider myself as a student, although I have graduated recently from Delhi University, because I feel we all always learning the lesson of life. So we are students all. So I graduated from Kalindi College, that's part of Delhi University, in economics honors. I am currently now working as a research policy intern at Niti Tantra, and basically I am working now on analysis of Bangladesh, its political, socio-economic landscapes. So I am also working as a videographer plus a video editor and a social media manager for my mother's YouTube channel, which exclusively meant for cooking. So it's a very good experience. I learned cooking side by side as well. So, and I love writing. I have written two long stories, which from point of view, I call them novels. And I also wrote a lot of poems in my school time, and they got published in my school's annual magazines as well. And I write a lot of articles on a lot of topics, but I don't usually prefer publishing them because it's for my own understanding and have my opinions, personal opinions, and extreme viewpoints. So that leads to my school days. Basically, my school days have a very important chunk of my life because I have done my schoolings from almost 7 to 8 schools. Because my dad was in a transferable job, he's in defense. So maximum time I have spent in any city is that of 2 years until my class ninth. So I have done my schools from Aizawl, that's the capital of Mizoram, Nagpur in Maharashtra, Srinagar in Jammu Kashmir, Ambala. And my last stop and final stop was in Delhi, where I did my most crucial part of schooling, that was of 9th, 10th, and 11th and 12th. Although my dad was posted to other station, I preferred continuing my 12th standard in Delhi. I did my last schooling in Army Public School, Shankar Vihar. That is one of my favorite school, because I did my first standard here itself. So like I have been to this school twice, so it is my favorite school. And this experience gave me a lot of exposure, and I have a very diverse group of friends. And I mean, I have friends from Kashmir to Kanyakumari and from Gujarat to Mizoram as well. So it's a handful of things. And a major disadvantage I think of this experience was that I am not dear to my native much, because I don't my mother tongue is Tamil, and I have a little sort of fight with Tamil. I can't speak it fluently, although my parents understand it well, but it's difficult to navigate.
Okay.
Anyway, so my ambition of life also changed with the frequency I changed my school. So like when I was sixth, I wanted to be an archaeologist. I don't know why, but I wanted to be an archaeologist because I used to see Ashoka. There was a daily soap which used to come in one of the TV serial. I was impressed with Ashoka. I wanted to make a career in history and be an archaeologist. Then I saw PV Sindhu winning silver medal in Olympics. I wanted to be a badminton player. So like it kept changing. Then finally I thought I'll become an aerospace scientist. So I took 11th PCM in my 11th and 12th. So while I was in Delhi, I had a very easy accessibility to all those high-end coaching. I took them and I started preparing for JEE mains and advanced in class 11th and 12th. The only good thing I did in that phase of my life was taking economics as my fifth subject. And the reason was because my economics sir was more affable than my Python CS computer science sir. And I was with the commerce students group, which was like a very affable class. So I took economics for that purpose. so that it doesn't hinder my JEE preparation. So
Yeah.
11th was a stress-free year. While I was in 12th, COVID came, lockdown happened, and online classes started. So that was my peak stress days of my life, because from 8 o'clock to 1 p.m. I had my online school classes, and then after 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. I used to have my online coaching classes. So I didn't had time to speak to anyone, not even to my friends. I had a very bad physical and mental health at that point of time. I felt very lonely. uh, I mean, I was almost into edge of getting into depression and all. But anyway, we all navigated through that phase. And while I was in my 12th, 2021, we had our JEE mains exam. And my batch, at that time, we had four attempts to give for the mains exam, which was in February, March, and due to the second wave, we got a gap of 4 months, and then August and September. So in that phase, I understood that science is not a subject for me, engineering is not a subject for me. Because the irony was, although I used to study my economics, and I don't remember sparing time to study economics at all. I remember I used to attend classes and revise before exams and score more than 90% in economics. And I used to spend whole day studying physics. Although while I was in 11th, I just passed my physics exam by 1.5 marks, which was canonical. And very I was like brittled by the physics subject. So I thought, okay, it's time I should introspect. And we guys are very lucky because our boards got cancelled and we had a lot of time to introspect. So I thought, okay, I'll not do engineering. Instead, I had a plan B, that of economics. Although I gave a 0.001% significance to this plan B, but this is what helped me later on. So it was a tough road to change my mind, and to talk to my parents, and to change their viewpoint of seeing this, because basically we come from South Indian family where parents have just three options, or they just give three options to to their children. That's of engineering, and engineering. So it was difficult for me to actually tell everybody that I'm not doing this. I'm do if I- thankfully, universities in Kalindi College in economics honors. So I'm very grateful. Although I didn't get the expected college I wanted, but Kalindi is amazing. I liked it actually. I liked it after coming to this college. So I feel I was lucky in every phase of my life. Uh, yeah, and then another sort of a shock wave came when, and this shock wave was bombed by the prime minister of that time. He said that on 15th of August that the National Defense Academy will start recruiting women candidates for the defense at the age of 18, which wasn't the case earlier, because only male students after 18 used to join the defense services. So since my family is of a defense from that part, and my mom was also very enthusiastic about my about sending my my brother to NDA. So she was very excited for me doing this NDA written exam and clearing all that. Although I never wanted to be an army officer, but I did write the exam because I had the PCM background. And also I am exaggerative and a dreamful person. I was like, okay, I'll go to the NDA. I'll join the first batch of the women's 28 cadet. I'll be creating history. While the time I'll retire, directors will come around and ask for signing biopics, and people will write movies on me and all that. And I still think that those NDA girls now will have this kind of life in future. They'll have a life of first they lead a life of being the first, like the first general, the first lady general, the first all that. sort of achievements. So that's what actually motivated me to prepare for India. And because again, have a lot of friends who were already preparing for NDA 11th. They helped me in finding resources, and I was in a biology majority class, so I had friends who taught me biology in just 40 days of span, so I could clear the exam, and I did. And then I got the call for SSB. So I had 3 months to prepare for my SSB exam. Meanwhile, I was in the first semester of my college. Luckily, again, lucky, I was lucky to have online mode of the education in my first semester. So although in between Delhi University announced that the colleges are gonna start offline, but I don't know if it's a twist of tail. They said that our exams will be online, although our classes will be offline.
Yeah.
And they won't show of attendance. So it was a very it was a kind of jackpot for me, because I wasn't really required to go to college and give exam offline, and but instead prepare for my SSB. SSB service. Yeah, I don't remember right now. SSB exam. So I my semester was for when the I was actually privileged again, because I was surrounded by so many officers, and my dad is in. He himself is an officer. He used to tell me about his experience of clearing SSB. He cleared at his second attempt. He used to tell me all the stuffs, and there were so many resources available for me to do exercise and everything. So I'm actually a privileged as I think that. So like my preparation was very tough, as in I was overweight by 10 kilos. I had to decrease 10 kilos of my weight, and I did lost 7 kilo in 3 to 2 months, I think. And I went through a very rigorous physical and mental training. So finally I had my interview, which was in Allahabad. And it was SSB interview is for 5 days. So like the first day is about screening. um if you don't get screened in, you're supposed to pack your bags and get home back. And if you get screened in on the first day, you remain there in the SSB for the next 4 days, and your actual interview starts. So in my case, there were only 50 girls who were there for the first day screening, and only 18 girls were screened in. The Do you want me to explain the whole process of SSB, if it's
Why not?
a unique story?
Why not?
Why not? Okay. So like the screening is about, first they had a verbal, non-verbal question paper type of a test, and then they had a thematic paper test wherein they showed a picture for 20 seconds, and they asked us to write a story in 4 minutes. So we did that, and then we were divided into few groups of 15 to 10 candidates, and we were asked to narrate our stories individually. Then we were supposed to all, because we narrated our story individually. There were very different vivid stories, and we had to do a group discussion where we needed to agree on one particular plot. So that was difficult for 15 people thinking in a different way to come to one particular story. Although we did that, and while I was narrating, all the people who narrated prior to me had the opportunity to tell whole their story. While I stood up and just started narrating my story, I just completed 2 sentences, and the officers were like, "Okay, sit down. Okay, sit down." And I was like very nervous, and I'm full of pressure. Like, what did I do? Why am I not allowed to narrate my whole story? So I put all of my energy in the group discussion, and finally I got screened in the first stage. So when I got screened in, I felt revealed, thoda sa acha laga, and then I was given the new chest numbers, and a lot of documentation formality was done. And the next day was about psychology test, wherein they test your psychology through written exams. There are I mean, a lot of tests, like thematic association test, wherein you are shown a picture just for 10 seconds, and you're given 20, like, you're given 4 minutes to write on that picture what you saw, a story basically on that picture. And there are 12 such pictures that are shown, and you need to write on in a continuous pace like they show, and you will have to write, and then you again have to look up at the screen. There's another picture you need to write, and that is done to 12 times. And then you have without any without any rest, you have to give another test, which is about word association test, wherein they show a word for I think 10 seconds, and you're given 40 seconds to write a sentence. For example, blood is shown, and you have to write a sentence. For example, blood is shown, you have to write, okay, I donated blood and I saved my friend's life. So that is how quick you have to write a meaningful sentence in just 40 seconds. And then you have a situation reaction test, wherein they show a situation, and you have 30 seconds to answer that. For example, you're rushing to your interview, and you saw a person drowning, and you're an expert swimmer, what will you do? So these kind of question, and you need to answer it in just 40 to 30 seconds. The point is to extract, for them to extract what your what your immediate answer or judgment would be to that situation or that word or that type or sort of a scenario. So it was very rigorous. All our hands got broken. We were writing so much in such a fast pace, and that too in such a meaningful way you have to present, and in a more readable manner, with a good handwriting. So it was a very good experience. On the same day, I had my personal interview as well, which is in which you were asked questions, a lot of questions by a interviewing officer. So I think that was my longest interview. That was my first ever formal interview that I ever faced in life, and the longest one. 1 hour 10 minutes. That's the record. That's my personal record. 1 hour 10 minutes interview. And since the interviewing officer had a lot of topics to talk about, discuss, he asked me about economics, why I shifted from science to economics. Since I'm an army brat, he asked about my dad's unit, the place we were already posted, and a lot of things. He at that point of time, Ukraine Russia war started. He asked my opinions on that. And since I was an economics student, he asked about the Sri Lankan crisis at that time was at peak. He asked my opinion on that. And we had a lot of current affairs to discuss on that 2022's perspective, and a lot of subject related things, science, economics. I told that I was interested in agriculture reforms, so he asked questions on them, investments and everything. So it was a very I mean a very I won't forget that interview ever in my life. That was so uh, enriching and rich. And the third and fourth day are of ground tasks, wherein that consist of ground activity exercises, such as the group discussion, where you do a high level group discussions on a very global level important topics. And then you have a command task, wherein you are told that you are a commander, and you're given some resources like a wooden log or a plank and rope and rod, etc. things, and you're given a task that this is you need to go there and defuse a bomb or something like that, and you're given two subordinates. Their work is to listen to your order and do whatever you say them to do. So that was the worst task that I had, because when I was making a bridge to for my subordinates to cross a river, that bridge got broke, and and while I was tying the rope, I had a very hard time tying that rope, because I don't have that kind of experience in all that stuff. So I had a very bad command task. Although then we had progressive group task, wherein 10 candidates together solve a given obstacle. We were told to carry a secret box of ammunition to another place. So those kind of things, tasks were happening. And the third task was about lecturate, wherein you were given 3 minutes to speak on one topic. Uh, and there was one individual obstacle task, wherein you are supposed to do 10 military obstacles in just 3 minutes. So, and they were placed in a scared places, so you need to run as fast as you could to from obstacle to cover all the 10 obstacles in just 3 minutes. So by the end, your heart will not beat at all. They'll run as if they are the fastest bullet train of Japan. It was so tight. And then we had the military planning exercise, wherein they showed a very big map. We were asked to, we were given a situation when we are 10 group of people, and there is a terrorist group in such place, and they are planning a sabotage, and there's one person injured. You need to save everything and all that. Very complex sort of a planning was supposed to be done in terms of distance, speed, and time. And we were given 10 minutes, so it was very complex to decide, okay, if the bus goes at 6 p.m., how long will I take to reach that place, which is about 10 kilometers if I go by walk or take cycle. Or all these calculations were to be done manually with approximation and estimation, and we were to come up with a plan. So I think, and I believe that I wasn't a person to think from a military perspective, because all these plannings eventually involved killing of the terrorist or such things. And I am a person who's not who thinks thousands of times before killing a mosquito also. So it was difficult for me not to pretend that I can think of such things. So I think I'm not a person for defense. So anyway, so the next task was about snake race, where you need to carry a big snake, 10 people together, and need to cross a lot of obstacles and win among the groups that you're divided. And the fifth day is about the conference and the result. So I wasn't selected, and I knew that I wouldn't be, because of the kind of the performance I had. So anyway, I was heartbroken because I was given a very good training by a lot of people, and they were expecting me to do that. I didn't, but it's okay. I was like, okay, fine. The next day I reached home, and the very next day from Bhopal to I traveled from Bhopal to Delhi. So it was very quick. Like on the first day, I traveled from Allahabad to Bhopal, and then from Bhopal to Delhi for my college. So while I got to my college, I took some time to introspect what are the areas of improvement, sort of things that I have for myself. I realized that I am not a team player. So I decided I'll join my college's basketball team. I joined my college basketball team 3 4 months, I think. And I had to eventually discontinue because economics was overflowing. So anyway, I discovered that I need to take a lot of participation in extracurricular things, and be more socially active. So I decided to join societies of my college, a lot of societies. I joined the placement cell. I was part of the corporate relations team, and our job was to talk to the companies and pursue them to come to our college for campus interviews and internships. So the biggest event of that society was about the placement fair, in which we invited 40 companies to our college, and a lot of students got placed, and a lot more got interned. So that was about the placement cell. And then I joined the economic society as the event head. So I was the co-head in the event team, and we were involved in engaging our students, our economics students, in a lot of economics oriented activities, such as quizzes, case study competition, discussion, group discussions, to have that charged environment in our department. The biggest event in this society was about organizing the fest, economics annual fest, wherein we had a lot of events, and my focus was on conducting model IMF, that is model international monetary funds. It is a carbon copy of model MUNs, but the from a economics perspective. So I was happy organizing it. I was leading the team with two more people, and the response was very good, because there was participants who were like, who wanted the event happen next year as well. And I'm happy that even though I was not a part of this society this year, but they continued to have IMF model IMF this year's in this year's fest as well. So I'm happy that I created a system, sort of a system for the society. And I was also part of the editorial board. I was the section editor, wherein my section, the topic of my section was about evidence-based policies, and I made my team write 3 articles based on what how important evidences are for making policies, and how what big roles they play. And for example, for those who don't know, uh, evidence based policy, we have like there is always connectivity between a lot of things. For example, when we say education and nutrition are connected in a way that when the people from underprivileged class send their children to work so that they can earn and get a meal for a day. But in case if there are schools which can provide both education and nutrition, then obviously the parents will not send their kids to work, and instead will send to school. So that is how the midday meal scheme was launched, and it's a major success now. We see how drastically the child labor cases have decreased in India, and thanks to the midday meal scheme, and thanks to the evidences on which of which the policies were made. So that's example. So the last society that I was part of was the Connecting Dreams Foundation, and particularly I was part of NIET team, which prime motto was hunger eradication and youth empowerment. In this society, I did a more extrovert work in terms of going outside the campus and working. We went on field visits. We went to many places like Kirti Nagar, sure, yeah, um, Shakur Basti, and Jandewala places, wherein we used to have surveys about the welfare of the people they used to get from the government. We also collaborated with the Robin Hood Army. They are an NGO who collect wasteful food from the restaurants, and distribute them to the underprivileged classes. So while we used to work individually, apart without any collaboration, we used to search for slums through internet and go with the Google Maps guidance. And those were actually after that I visited the slums where the Robin Hood Army took us. There's a sharp contrast between the internet shown slums, which were pretty developed, but they had a good standard of living compared to the Robin Hood Army slums. Because while I was going with the Robin Hood Army, we were taken into very narrow gullies and to some very deep part of the cities, wherein nobody could imagine that people would live there. I mean, I presumed that that place was a landfill, but then people were living inside that landfill. And that was very shocking and inhuman to see people having tents in over landfills, living in having a black floor of dust as their instead of tiles, what we have in our home. So it was a very impactful things that we did, distributing food to them. And the thing that changed my perspective was all these people were always happy, smiling, and very grateful that we brought them food. I mean, we complain so much about, even after having so much of privilege, we keep complaining that we don't have all that thing. These people were so happy with all that they had. I mean, I was very emotionally touched seeing them. And I mean, we don't know, we if we search places of slums in internet, we'll never get places like these people live in. So those are the things I explored while I was in college, and I think it made a huge difference in my personality. And I mean, I'm very grateful that I was part of Kalandi and had all these to see, because all my life I was inside the army cantonments. I never seen the real life, the real the real world in itself. I went into such an organized life that when I went to college, being in the civil area, I saw so many unorganized things, very normal thing for all people, like hanging wires and uncleaned road and people not wearing shoes and socks for walking. I mean, it was very different and for me to see all that stuff. But anyway, I got to learn a lot, and I actually was able to see the real world through my college life. So now that the college is over, I had applied for masters, but didn't get my dream college. So I'm planning to take a drop and prepare again for my dream college. Yeah. So you're muted.
Yeah. Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much for a fascinating life uh, that you have lived. So many changes as a child, and so many changes in your college life, and disappointments, and rise back, and this and that. Let me just ask you two questions. One is, in all this, you have gone through rejections, and you said you were nearly in depression. How do you view your future? Optimistically, realistically, negatively? And if you view it, and what is your biggest concern about your own future?
So I think I would view it from an optimistic point of view, because I am way privileged than most of the people in this world. So I think anyway I'll find a good path for my life. Even if not, it would be a life made of my own choices and made of my own mistakes, full of my own journeys, experience, and I enjoy my life. Even though I don't see the rejection as rejections. It's all about, like, I came across a quote while I was leaving SSB, that you never lose. You either win or you either learn. So yeah, so I'm always learning. It's not about rejection.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay, good. All right. And what tips do you have for young people?
So yeah, for young people, people who are younger than me would be in college or in school.
Well,
So
yeah.
for them, I think they shouldn't constrain them to the presumed norms of the society, that uh, these are set of rules. You need to study well, get into good college, and then get into good job and all that. Every life is different. Everybody's rule should be different. So I think it's okay to change the path of your life. It's okay uh, to get rejected. I mean, it's all about experience and living the life, and not about living the life in our own way, and not about not in the path of the presumed way. I mean, uh, like, everybody is not born to win every time. So it's okay if you fail. It's okay to find to realize new things. I mean, I realized very late that I'm not meant for engineering. It's okay. I mean, the KFC's owner got, I think, was recognized in his late 60s. So it's all about time. Everybody has their own time to get recognition and get everything in life. So it's okay even if you decide to change your path one day before retirement. So it's all, life is all about what happens to you. I mean, you don't have any you don't decide what happens, but you can decide what your performance is. So yeah, you don't people shouldn't worry about what's happening in their life. They should enjoy and live every moment.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Praveena. This is a wonderful testimony. And in a way, you have just validated my concept of floating this channel, which was that young people have a lot on their mind, and they are accomplished, and the society, Indian society, is still stuck in the old ways. That seniors talk and juniors listen, and it's time we change that to junior stock, and please listen to the young people. Don't talk to them, listen to them. Because when you talk to them, you will talk forever, they won't get a chance. So kindly don't talk so much, kindly listen. And we have learned so much. And plus, some of the younger people who are still in school or maybe in first year, they will hear you and say, well, it's okay. She told us it's okay. You will get your way. So thank you, Praveena. Let's end it here. And
Yes.
I'll be back with another young person or an expert soon. Bye till then. Bye, everybody.